Joe Fortenbaugh here for OddsShark, where we'd like to begin on a serious note to clear the air about a misconception circulating based on what happened this past weekend. Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey destroying everything in sight up in the booth at the conclusion of Buffalo's loss to Miami. People think he was so frustrated with how the game ended, that's why he went nuclear. No. Ken went nuclear because he had the Chiefs in his survivor pool and they had just gone down to the Indianapolis Colts. I could barely say that with a straight face. That's clearly not true, but how much carnage has there been so far in the survivor world this season? We're just 3 weeks into the year. All right, let me put this in perspective. Chiefs and Chargers go down. They were very popular options in week 3. All right, out here in Las Vegas at Circus Sports, they run a great survivor contest that had just over 6,000 entries this year, of which I was one. Eliminated in week 1 because of San Francisco. That's why I had to shave my mustache. Story for another day. All right, 3 weeks in, they're down to 1,550 entries. 75% have already been eliminated. If you're still in, congratulations. Tread lightly. Probably want to go with the Packers over the Patriots this coming weekend. All right, week 3 recap, let's get into it. Starting with Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys handled their business in New York, defeating the Giants 23-16. 2 key takeaways here. New York is better this season than they were last year under Joe Judge. Brian Daboll's a better coach. He's got them organized, but the personnel and the salary cap situation, still a mess. Daniel Jones, not a consistent enough quarterback. David Gettleman, the former GM, put this team in a tough spot roster-wise. It's going to take some time, but they're trending in the right direction. For the Dallas Cowboys, that defense is legitimate. Give them credit. They're top 10 in scoring D, top 10 in opponent yards per play. Cooper Rush has been playing very effective football, and right now the team's 2-1, and they're playing to a lot of unders. So keep that in mind moving forward, as we've seen so many unders through the first 3 weeks of the season. Washington on deck this week, total currently 42.5. Games in Dallas, if you like it to go under, you're going to want to beat the move to 42 if it happens. Who knows how much we can trust Washington, but the Cowboys have gotten organized since that week 1 loss to a good Tampa Bay team. Plus 430 to win the NFC East. Not sure I'd bite because of how good Philadelphia looks, but Cowboys look competent. All right, all the jokes after week 1, probably shouldn't have written them off. Cooper Rush, he's probably in line for a $100 million deal. Good luck to Jerry Jones. All right, trends. We are approaching the month of October, and we are living in a world in which the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson, and the Chicago Bears are all either in sole possession or have a share of first place in their respective divisions. Miami, Jacksonville, Cleveland, and Chicago. Did you hear me, planet Earth? Those teams right now are cooking with Crisco. You want to talk about teams with a perfect ATS record through 3 weeks? Miami, Detroit, and Atlanta. Those Falcons have been very feisty, much better than people realize against the Vegas number. Winless against the spread so far this year. New Orleans, major disappointment. Jameis Winston's been terrible. New England, Mac Jones now hurt. And Las Vegas, Josh McDaniels already on the hot seat. Teams that have been perfect going to the over, Cleveland, Detroit, and Atlanta. Again, Detroit overs have been fantastic. They don't stop anybody, but they score a lot of points on offense. Atlanta, one of the top rushing attacks in the NFL. They've been playing to a lot of overs. And then teams that have been perfect to the under, and there's a lot. Cincy, Indianapolis, Denver's offense stinks. They've been playing to a lot of unders. Green Bay's defense has stepped up big. Tampa Bay and San Francisco. So those are the teams to keep in mind. I mean, if you had just been parlaying Miami and Atlanta and Detroit, where would you be? Speaking of parlays, the People's Parlay. First version is happening this week. Follow OddsShark on Twitter. We're going to be sending out a tweet asking for you to put in your best leg for a parlay this weekend. All right, submit it. The 3 that get the most likes are going to get chosen. We'll announce that on our preview video later in the week. If it wins, you're going to end up getting some big time swag, but you're getting a shout out one way or another. So keep an eye out for that. And speaking of parlays times 2, the parlay calculator over at OddsShark does a great job of helping you figure out your odds, your conversion rates, and whether or not you're getting paid the way you should based on the different sports books. It's a tool I use all the time. Odds converter, parlay calculator, all that good stuff over at OddsShark. All right. Bankroll Busters, favorite segment of the week right here. The guys who are costing us money. I will start with Jimmy Garoppolo. I had a lot tied into that Sunday night game. I know the sharper side was Denver. Right, I was on the Niners. Huge mistake. Garoppolo pulls a Dan Orlovsky, stepping out of the end zone for a safety, has a fumble, throws an interception on a drive in which the Niners were very close to getting into Robbie Gould's field goal range and could have won the game. Garoppolo was abysmal. All right, I did not think it was possible for Nathaniel Hackett, the head coach in Denver, to outcoach anybody. He outcoached Kyle Shanahan. The defense did everything it could, but they're at altitude. They were on the field 20 of 30 minutes in the second half, and they gave up a touchdown drive at the end of the game. Garoppolo was abysmal. I sent out a tweet right after the first touchdown drive saying how everyone's got to be so happy on that roster to have him back because the receivers are going to hit all their contract incentives. Right after that is where he went in the toilet. I mushed that game, so Bankroll Buster 2 probably sitting right here. Number 2, in actuality, as we keep this train moving, the Kansas City special teams unit. How abysmal were they? Defense goes out, stops Indianapolis immediately. Indianapolis punts. Sky Moore fumbles the punt. Indianapolis recovers, goes in for a touchdown, sets the tone for the rest of the day. Okay, you had that. You had a missed field goal and a missed extra point. For those not good at math, that adds up to 4 points. Kansas City lost by 3. Kind of important. And then kick returns. They weren't getting anything on kick returns. The blocking was terrible. You got an argument between offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes going into the half. Keep an eye on that. All right, no one's going to side with Bieniemy. I mean, let's be honest. You're a good coach, but Mahomes is like the $500 million man. So there could be some trouble in paradise, something to file away. And then number 3, Pittsburgh's offense. Thursday night football from last week, 23-17, Cleveland leads. Final play of the game. At this moment, all Pittsburgh teasers are covering, and the under, for those who played it earlier in the week before kickoff, covering as well. And then, of course, we get one of those stupid lateral plays, as if we're going to lateral 15 times and pick up 95 yards to score a game-winning touchdown when your offense had looked like crap the whole game. What ends up happening? Cleveland touchdown, all overs pay, teasers busted. Those are your bankroll busters for the week. The Pittsburgh offense, the Kansas City special teams, Jimmy Garoppolo, special guest appearance from me, mushing Garoppolo. It's neither here nor there. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. We need to move on. We need to move on. So let's focus on some key line movements that have already taken place as we get set for week 4. Chargers were 7-point favorites at Houston. It's down to 4.5. A lot of injuries with the Chargers. Herbert's ribs. All right, Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle, out for the season. Joey Bosa battling injury. Davis Mills plays much better at home than he does on the road. Maybe Houston puts up a fight there. Philadelphia has moved from 7 at most shops to 6.5 as they get set to host Jacksonville. Jags are feisty. We talked about it last week. Doug Peterson revenge game against his former team. Must-see TV this weekend. Cleveland goes from -3 to -1.5 at Atlanta. All right? Not so much a knock on Cleveland. Look at Atlanta. They're on the West Coast. They figure out how to cover against the Rams. They stay out west. They go up to Seattle. They win outright against the Seahawks. Seahawks aren't great, but people thought Atlanta might be the worst team in the NFL. Feisty, again, 3-0 against the spread. Be wary there. Green Bay goes from 7.5 all the way to 10.5 against New England. Packers look legit. Forget about week 1. Patriots, not very good. Matt Jones, high ankle sprain. He won't be playing this weekend. And then finally, Cincinnati goes from -2 to -3.5 Thursday night against Miami. And that leads us into Thursday night football. Sharp money pounded Cincinnati at less than a field goal, getting set for this game. Why? Look at the situation for Miami, especially their defense, okay? Or I should say specifically their defense, but we're not here for English grammatical lessons. Miami's defense on the field for 40 minutes against Buffalo. They may have won that game, but they were on the field for 40 minutes in that heat. And now, 4 days later, have to turn around and go on the road to play Cincinnati. That is just a brutal spot to be in. Sharps love that game. All right, they jumped all over Cincinnati in that one. And I'd also note that the Dolphins were outgained by 285 total yards and still found a way to win. Between the miracle in the fourth quarter against Baltimore and whatever the hell they did to get past the Bills, I still can't really figure it out. The team's 3-0. All right, 3-0 ATS, but there's some regression coming, okay? You can't live like that all season long and keep pulling out wins. I would look to the Cincinnati team total over 25 points. I think they put up a big number. Fantasy owners should be looking at T. Higgins and obviously Jamar Chase, but the pass catchers in Cincy should have a big day. Every opposing quarterback is putting up huge numbers against Miami. The secondary's worn down. It's a short week. It's going to be tough to cover these guys. I think the Cincinnati offense has a very good day. So that's what we're looking at for Thursday night football. Now, buy low, sell high. I'm going to give you 2. Buy low, the Las Vegas Raiders. I know they're 0-3, they look terrible, but after the game, Derek Carr talking about practice habits. Here comes Denver. I think less than 3 at home for the Raiders, who are desperate for a win against this Denver team that somehow pulled it off against Houston, somehow pulled it off against San Francisco. It's a goofball unit, all right? I should say I don't mean it as an insult, but it sounds like an insult. Probably is an insult. It's a goofball unit. All right, the coaching is off. It's sloppy. Russell Wilson does not look like the guy we remember, okay? It looks like he's taking a few steps back. You're gonna be on the road. You don't have the altitude at your disposal. Big emotional win. Turn around for the Raiders. I'd look to the Raiders in that spot. Selling high, not, I'm probably gonna regret this one. Selling high on Philadelphia a little bit, just a little bit. They're laying 7 against Jacksonville. I'm only selling high on them if it's 7. Only a few shops left have Jacksonville, all right, plus the 7. That's what I would play. I think the Jags are very feisty in that spot. I'd be looking to buy them there and sell Philadelphia, who's everybody's darling at the moment. Let's conclude with some college football and focus on the Tennessee Volunteers. Nice win over Florida. Now 4-0 on the season, 3-1 against the spread. Number 8 in the AP poll, highest ranking since 2006. Things are cooking. Keep in mind, they will go on the bye. They'll come back in 2 weeks. They'll play at LSU, then they will host Alabama. Right now with Tennessee, you're looking to team total overs, you're looking to overs. They're averaging 48 points per game. They play really fast, all right? They get up to the line of scrimmage, they snap, they move, they keep it going. It's great for overs. 3-1 to the over so far this year. The one game that didn't hit, Pitt's quarterback Keaton Slovis got hurt, and as a result, that offense went right in the toilet. But that game was trending to an over. That's what I'd be looking for moving forward, but there are some big games on deck. Keep that in mind with Tennessee. Not ready to jump in on them to make the college football playoff or to win the SEC, but they're moving in the right direction under Josh Heupel. Thank you so much for checking us out. Best of luck this weekend. Get set. A couple days from now, we're going to release the Week 4 NFL preview to get you set with everything you need to know for the weekend.